Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Senior News Editor with Retail Insider. Joining me today is Blair Stevens, who is President and founder of The Chopped Leaf. Thanks for joining us today, Blair.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mario.
All right, let's talk a little bit about The Chopped Leaf and its history. Tell me the story of how this idea, this concept in the restaurant food sector came to be.
Well, I've always been in the restaurant business since I was an 18-year-old lad, being a franchisee of myself. And this concept actually came across with my wife and I are tours down in New York City, and there was a salad craze happening down there. I think that was back in 2006, and we live healthier lifestyles, and we always wanted to develop something that kind of fit our lifestyle and our family. And
Yeah.
we thought, hey, what a wicked idea. We knew we had to Canadianize it, not just have salads, but that was the catalyst to the whole thing.
All right. And so the first store opened where and when?
In my hometown, Kelowna, British Columbia, back in 2007.
2007. And currently, Blair, how many stores and locations do you have?
We have 111 locations all across the country, and one below the border there down in Washington.
Okay, tell me, the concept, obviously the healthy eating part of
Mm.
things. Uh,
Mhm.
BC, I think, is known for that.
Yeah.
How did that come about in your mind, and for both your wife and yourself, to be healthy eaters?
Well, and it's funny on the extreme side, my wife is probably on the extreme end, where I've been in this world and I know that it all comes down to the flavors. So it was a combination of taking, feel good after you eat product and making it flavorful.
Yeah.
That was our key to recipe. I knew that we wanted to take this brand coast to coast, and to do that, we had to expand our demographic. When we first started, yeah, our demographic was more fitness orientated clientele, but once we started getting into markets like Grand Prairie, Alberta, had lineups out the door, we knew we had something special, and it was the flavors that sold that.
Okay. Now, in terms of your locations, how many are franchised now?
They're all franchised, yeah.
All of them.
So
Okay.
no, that's our business, is supporting our franchisees.
Okay, then. And when did you start franchising?
So we opened the first store 2007, and our first franchise location opened in 2009 downtown Vancouver. So it was a fairly quick transition. Our game plan right off the bat was to ensure that we had a profitable model that we could franchise, and we're able to do it fairly quick.
Okay, then. And what are the thoughts in terms of going forward, Blair? How many of these locations do you think you can get to?
Well, we've always we always never had a number in mind. It was all about quality over quantity, and we're going to continue on that path. Our main focus, of course, most of our stores are out west and fairly dense, is out east in Ontario and the Atlantics. But again, it's quality over quantity. Yeah, we have a lot of interest, but we're ensuring that we pick the right real estate along with the right partners.
Okay, so
In
tell me.
addition, though, we're going across the border. And we
Okay.
recently did a multi-unit franchise show down in Las Vegas. The interest levels were awesome. They're really, really cool. So we're working on some big deals that could really catapult us.
Wow. So when you're looking at let's look at the potential there. So when you're looking for a franchise Z,
Mhm.
what are you looking for in people?
Well, number one, they would have to fit our culture, our personality. Again, our slogan is "Feel good after you eat," and it's not necessarily. And everyone has a different definition of a healthy lifestyle. Ours is more a balanced, so far, and that's passionate about good, flavorful food. Our franchisees are driven, self-driven. They have an entrepreneurial mindset, and they're open to working as a team. Those are the critical things, because we come in and teach them, A to Z on how to run a successful chop leaf.
Hmm. And in terms of real estate, what do you typically look for?
So real estate square footage between 900 to 1,500 square feet is kind of our bread and butter in power centers with large anchors. That has been our bread and butter for many years, but we recently dived into the food court model.
Oh,
And we have a few locations out there that are showing some success. So we're excited to expand that avenue for sure.
okay then. Now, okay, I've got some money I want to invest.
Mhm.
I'm a potential franchisee. Sell me the idea of
Sell you, first and
why I
foremost,
should do this.
well, I would tell you to go to our store and have some of our products. We get a lot of interest, and that's the first thing we tell these people. Like, listen, the food sells itself. All of our dressings are our private label, along with our soups. Our croutons are specific to our brand. So we have a product that's unique and an operations that are unique. When my wife and I first developed this concept, all of our operations we wanted to dial in so a 12, 13-year-old could go and execute.
Hmm,
So the operational side of things is fairly straightforward. We have the product offerings to really back that up. We have the real estate experience, that's been there and done that over 30 years, being in part of our parent company, Innovative Food Brands, to bring that forward.
yeah.
And you know what? Again, the power is the quality over quantity. We never did deals just to do deals. We just want to ensure we do the right one. And we're ethical business people.
Hmm. And what about the menu itself? How has it evolved over those years?
Yeah. When we first started, we were mostly like a salad concept.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the whole era of the bowls has gone crazy. You see all the big players out there in the bowl world, and that's kind of shifted in our world. So recently, we launched a menu that streamlined our offerings to our consumers and made it easier on the operation. It's just called the one bowl model. So any one of our 9 offerings, you can get it as a bowl, a salad, or a wrap.
Hmm.
And of course, we have a couple other offerings, but that's a good chunk of our business. And right now, we have, a healthy split between those 3 categories.
Why is it important to continually look at your menu and evolve?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah. Well, for a couple different reasons, consumers, they always want to see something new. That I found out at a younger age, there's power to innovation. It's a lot to do with giving the marketing team a tool to market,
hmm,
right? And we have fun. We're foodies. We're passionate about food. I love to, travel and taste all different kinds of, SKUs out there in the world and put it on the company dollar. It's great. So it's a big plus. But that's what makes us so special, because we're passionate about it,
yeah.
and that's what we're all in the food business. So let's bring out new items to our consumers.
Have you always been passionate about food?
Yeah, I gotta say, yeah, probably was since I was like 8 or 9 years old. Like my mom, showed me some tricks in the kitchen, and
Oh, cool.
suddenly I was cooking for my dad. I still am cooking for my dad. So, um, yeah, it's always been in my DNA. I've been fortunate to be aligned with my wife, who is even just as passionate and definitely a better cook than I am.
What were your first dishes that you cooked as a kid?
Oh, as it cooked as a kid? I think it would be like straight out of pasta, with my mom showing me how to make a homemade marinara sauce.
Wow.
I I still kind of have that memory in my brain, but
So,
she also showed me how to make a good shake and bake chicken. So
so it
um,
wasn't craft dinner then.
no, it wasn't craft dinner. Maybe on the odd time we'd slip in craft dinner, but food's always been an important part of my life. I got 3 kids, and they're all working in the restaurant industry, and they bring that home as well, which is great.
So, how have consumers' taste changed since you started this?
Well, how does consumers' taste change? We're finding a lot about um ex the way that we're driving the brand is expanding our demographic, right? So when we originally had our consumers, again, they were lifestyle orientated, a little
Yeah.
bit more severe with their eating patterns. But now our goal is to really get after the masses. And it's amazing when the path we're walking, because we have the buffalo chicken salad, for example, which all the big boys they market, and we're there as well. And but we just want to ensure that we're mainstream, but our flavors are always superior than any sort of competitor. That's the goal.
Yeah. So in terms of the consumer now, do you think that consumers are more, I don't know, adventurous, I guess, in their eating, where, you know, in the past they might not have ventured into all these different types of food?
Yeah, it's like I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it pivot a little bit, but not to a big scale. You know,
Yeah.
it's still a mass of our demographic. The everyday, QSR eater is goes to their safety net. You know what I mean? So that's our focus is, to ensure that safety net, we can just improve the flavor profile and the price point. But in addition, yeah, as it's kind of growing for those nichey little items, we got to be there as well.
Yeah. Now, when you over the last, obviously, challenging times over the last
Yeah.
couple of years, um, how did you guys get through the pandemic?
How did we get through the pandemic? Oh,
I
that
imagine
was
you would have
quite.
been shut down a bit, right?
It was awful. Like I'm still a little bit scarred. My personal mission was going in there to ensure that we didn't have one closure, which we're able to
Yeah.
fulfill, which is just a testimony to how strong our brand was, but also to our franchisees out there. They were fighters. We did a few pivots. We incorporated. We knew that third party delivery was a big aspect of getting through this. So
Oh, yeah.
able to develop a couple ghost kitchens, really put some focus and some training on excelling in that third party world.
Yeah.
But also did our mighty best to keep our franchisees positive and educate them that there is a light at this end of this ugly tunnel.
Mhm.
And we're united and we got through it together.
So, are you finding, from your perspective in your business, that third party delivery is still strong as it was during the pandemic?
Yeah, it's flattened a little bit. There's no doubt about it, but it's still a main focus within our organization, a topic point for sure. There's a lot of opportunity we see in it. It seems like consumers have made it a part of their routine. So to take a consumer out of their routine is a little bit more challenging. So we're
Yeah.
accepting it and just doing our mighty best to grow it.
All right. All right. Well, thanks very much, Blair, for joining us today.
Yeah, well, thanks, Mario. Appreciate it. Anytime.
All right, that was Blair Stevens, who is founder and president of The Chopped Leaf. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, senior news editor at Retail Insider. Thanks for joining us today.